But first, I'm joined by our all-star panel, digital asset educator Randy Hipper, Endeavor Pack founder Tiffany Smiley, and Barron's Investor Circle newsletter editor and Fox Business contributor Josh Schaefer. I want to start with something we look at every day, the markets. People under 40 now hold a record $3.1 trillion in stocks. They're building wealth like we've never seen before. Randy, I'll come to you first on this one. I think it's great on its surface. It's a good number. It's a big number. Why are young people so much more attracted to the market than it seems any generation before them?
I think Gen Z has this crushing feeling that they have to catch up before they're even left behind. With the crushing pressure of inflation, Gen Z is looking for alternative ways, but you could also think about the technology that we have. When our parents were younger, they had to go through so many intermediaries just to invest into a stock. Now we have everything at the tip of our fingers with Robinhood. In crypto, you have Coinbase, where we could just click a button and start investing almost instantly.
Josh, it's easy. I'll grant that. Randy says it's easy. It's easier to do that. Is that purely a positive thing? How do you talk to young people about the ease of getting in the market balanced with, there are risks to getting in the market as well?
Getting in is easy. You know what's hard, Brian? Outperforming the S&P 500.
Okay.
And seriously, thinking about asset allocation and sort of how you actually invest. If you look at large cap fund managers, so people that manage an active fund that maybe you'd buy as an ETF, 80% of them underperform the S&P 500 in 2025. Those are people that get paid to manage money. So I think as individual investors, it's understanding, okay, I'm going to get in the market. That's great. Let's get invested. But you don't have to be a stock picker. Being a stock picker is very difficult. And that's where I get concerned when I talk to younger folks. Everyone wants to talk about the NVIDIAs of the world, or let's get a leveraged ETF. And it's, okay, maybe let's start with the index funds and get interested. And that's kind of your starting point.
Tiffany, you and I are in the spot of having to counsel our kids about this sort of thing. And that's a really fun spot to be in. But it's interesting, especially because, we're from a generation that didn't have some of these tools. How do you talk to your kids about that huge opportunity to be invested, but also help them understand some of what Josh is saying about the fact that you might underperform sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, I have to be honest, they're educating me in a lot of ways, which is awesome because, I grew up selling cherries at the farmer's market and really believing like you can make money anywhere, but I had my dollars in my hand and my boys are like, hey, they already are invested in the stock market. They have, my 19-year-old that I just took to college has a Roth IRA. I mean, these are kids that grew up with high-speed internet. I know I'm dating myself, but I had dial-up as an adult.
Right. I hear
they
you.
have high-speed internet, they have phone, they have so much accessibility to making money. And I think it's awesome. I think it's a huge opportunity. It's a positive thing for this country and for our youth to be engaged with it and not afraid of it. Growing up, I was a little bit timid about it. I wanted my money in my hand.
Right.
And you're telling me I have to go give it to a financial advisor. But again, my sons talk about the stock market nearly every day. And they also have talked about, hey, just take $10,000 and day trade. Right? But you have to be smart and you have to be educated. So we've had those conversations too. Like it might seem like it's accessible and easy, but you need to be smart with your money.
I like what you're saying. It's a journey that you're going on together in a way, and talking about it, talking about the risks and opportunities is a great start in terms of that conversation. I want to get to this as well. We're seeing a boom in Gen Z entrepreneurs across America, now surpassing baby boomers in new business starts for the first time ever, tapping into AI to get their ideas off the ground fast. So, Josh, I want to ask, how much does AI change the business prospects for this younger generation?
It changes it completely because you can now be maybe not an expert, but more skilled at more things. So you can use AI to help build a deck so you can go and pitch a business and all of a sudden you're a little bit of a salesperson, or you can use it to help you code and make a website. I mean, a lot of the websites I've been interacting with recently on the internet are sports trivia games that someone just made up. They used a coding mechanism and they just coded it. They vibe coded it, as they're calling it, with AI. But there's a ton of opportunity within AI to go out and do something different. And this generation is also very excited about having more than one job, more than one source of income. I think AI is really additive to that process.
It's Josh is using terms like vibe coding. Okay, so Tiffany and I are trying to figure out, okay, what's going on with this whole vibe coding thing. It's interesting. AI can multiply your opportunities, but it's a more entrepreneurial world. In other words, you're not walking through a predefined set of gates that maybe previous generations did. Randy, is that just natural for young people, or do they need to seek out ways to learn how to have a more entrepreneurial mindset?
No, this is an instant gratification type generation where we want to just dive in and get started. Why do people want to waste time in their eyes and go to college and sit there for a few years when they could actually just dive into the workforce head first? And when it comes to AI, you could think of AI like a silent partner. You go to AI, ask questions, you could come up with a business plan. Like Josh said, you could create your decks. You could even just create your whole forecast for the future financially, and you don't have to hire other people to do that like you previously had to. So you're actually profiting more rather than spending money to create your business.
See, Randy and Josh are talking about decks. Again, I'm kind of thinking like the thing you stand on in the backyard. It's a different set of lingo, but there was a word that Randy used that I think is important. Instant gratification. It does feel like an instant gratification economy. And in a way, you have to guard against that as well, because not all things in life are instant.
That's right, and I think that's the challenge that Gen Z faces. You mentioned it in the beginning, is, you know, everything is at their fingertips and they want it now. And that is the challenge that we have, is teaching them that long-term success takes time and it takes sacrifice. Yeah, all of these digital assets and these opportunities are awesome and great, and it is certainly setting my boys up for much more than I had. But I also make them raise hogs and get dirty and go through a process where you might lose your hog, it might die, you might lose your money. You also have to build relationships with people in the community and the business that will come and buy your hog. It's real people to people, it's real world things that I don't think can ever be replaced. And I think it's important that we continue to teach our youth and our younger generations that hard work and sacrifice and a long-term investment is also a really good thing for the future.
It's interesting. You have the word instant, and then in ag, you have the word cultivation, and those are very different things. Both of them good to know. A growing number of young Americans are turning to the trades, with enrollment at vocational-focused two-year colleges jumping nearly 12% last year, and up nearly 20% since 2020. Okay, so Randy, you mentioned that, the idea of like, why walk the normal path? Why not go a different path that gets you on the front line sooner? That's what young people seem to be doing here.
Absolutely. And you could look at blue collar jobs where people figure, hey, I'll go make six figures within a few years and try to preserve my future rather than getting in debt and having to work towards that in my future. But also, personally, I was 17 when I started my brand Miss Teen Crypto. I was in high school, and I just saw that in digital assets, there was no college that could teach me about Bitcoin. So I figured, why don't I learn it and bring that to my generation? And now with AI, everything is coming together, because what is AI going to use? Crypto to pay for their work. So now there's just like this whole multitude of industries that are coming together through technology, and Gen Z is using that. Even in communities, they are using community through AI to build their business and bridge that to other people. But again, like you said, you have to remain conservative so that way you could build a sustainable company. So use AI for that instant build, but use your brain and your knowledge from other people to keep that going.
Right. And Tiffany, I know the blue collar move is close to your heart.
Yes, it is. It's funny. My middle son even came in and shook my hand and said, I'm a blue collar worker now. You'd been out working on the farm, changing lines and moving hay. And I think that's a good thing. I really do. You know, these kids, there is a lot of stress because of, I think, the inflation and the economy where it's at. They have these opportunities, but they also just need to realize that you are not behind. It takes time and it takes effort and it takes being creative. Like you were saying, like, you don't have to go to college. You could start a farm tomorrow. You can take a risk. It's okay to take a risk in this country, and we need to make sure that the youth understand that going forward.
Josh,
safety.
Real quickly, we're the literal white collar guys on this set here, but this move matters for us as well. Your final thoughts on that subject?
The thing I would say is it seems smart to me to lean into what's been called in the markets that real stuff rotation, the stuff that AI is not going to disrupt. I'm still going to, go out and get a sandwich. I'm still going to need a plumber to come to my apartment. All the things that I can't do, we're going to be relying on other people for. And I think being in that position in the labor market makes a lot of sense to me, rather than being in a job saying, hey, is AI going to take it in 5 years? I'd rather be where I know AI isn't going to take it.
Right. Makes a lot of sense. All right, Randy, Josh, Tiffany, stick around. You'll be back with us later.